Welcome to now our 6th video. This one is titled Spiritual Journeys. We're going to be talking more about the 3rd, 4th, and 5th dimensions, and what that means honestly is when we talk about that in your consciousness, it's how you think about things. And so we're going to dive in a little bit more about that through this video, and how the mind is more at that 3rd dimensional level of thinking, and how your soul will bring you into more of a 5th dimensional level of thinking. We are all unique individuals. As we continue this journey understanding about energy, what I want you to understand is that we're all unique, and we all come from one source of energy. So when I say that, I think sometimes it's hard for people to understand that there really is only one major source. So in the diagrams that I've showed you before, we talk about different levels. We talk about the nine levels of energy, and that it all starts from one source. And what happens there is, basically, think of it this way. It's like we come from one source, and from that one source, it's like things fragment and break down, and these frequencies and vibrations and pulsations, and all of this becomes like a recipe. And each one of us has a unique, different recipe. So as that one source breaks down into different vibrations and segments and rhythms, it basically becomes something unique. So one recipe of vibrations and combinations could be a horse, and one of those recipes could end up being a grapefruit. And so each of us as human beings is our own unique recipe of vibration combinations. And that's what makes us all very, very special. And on this will also make our spiritual journey all unique. So through this process, what I say or other spiritual people say, and what might be best for them or me may not be best for you. You have to then tap in and find out what really does work for you, what feels good and resonates with you. And that's how you begin to start understanding yourself more as well. So through this process of awakening and starting a spiritual journey, or many of you could already be on a journey and have been for years, it's still going to be your unique journey. So again, everybody's a different level of vibrations and things like that in this new language of energy that you're starting to learn. Our discussion today is going to be on spiritual journeys, and I'm going to have 2 guests with us today. These 2 women have been on their spiritual journeys for quite a while, and they're going to share with you more of their stories and information. The tool we're going to do today is going to be music therapy. So this is, again, another therapy tool that you can use as yourself, or, if you're a couple, you could do this together, or even a family can use this therapy and help you to release energies. And it can be a positive thing. It can also be to help release negative things. So we're going to go show you how to do that, and that will be at the end of our discussion. We're going to kind of do it as a group. We're going to do some music therapy for you. And what I want to do now is read you something that I found. Again, Spirit always leads me to things. And so this was something that was led to me, and it just fits perfectly for these videos. This is a Native American statement. And what I want to share with you is, as you go through this process, you are going to learn, and this is from a Native American knowledge and wisdom. They say that you are going to learn the most important lesson, that the creator of energy, or God, is the most powerful thing there is. I'm going to read that again. So they're saying you are going to learn the most important lesson, that the creator of energy, or God, or whatever you want to call that higher power, is the most important thing there is, which is unconditional love vibration. So when we're talking about beings, these high vibrational beings is what they are. I had showed you in a diagram before, and I believe it's diagram 2 now, that I showed you how you have these different levels, and at these different levels it goes to your soul level, and then it goes into a spiritual level of the angels and stuff, and then there's the creator's energy at the very, very top, which is unconditional love. That's also on the emotional chart that I've shared with you. The very top of that we're striving for is unconditional love. That's the highest vibration. So when I'm talking about God or the Creator, or maybe it's a council of beings, they're vibrating, and I don't even want to say they, what it is, it's a vibration. It's a vibration of unconditional love. So it's a different mindset. So here we go. We're coming out of that 3D mindset of, God's just this one being sitting on a throne in heaven, watching over all of us and orchestrating everything. Is it one being? Is it a group of beings? Is it a vibration? That's what you need to start thinking about. At what level of these thoughts? So vibrational level, what this is talking about is the Creator being the highest and most powerful thing. Well, that's also unconditional love vibration. So we're one energy, as I mentioned, the highest, God or universal source energy, and love. They're all the same thing. So the Native American statement is this: the medicine wheel teaches that there are two worlds, the seen world and the unseen world, or the physical world and the spiritual world. We need information from both of these worlds in order to live our lives in a harmonious way. The most difficult way is to figure things out by ourselves and leave out the Great Spirit. When we do this, we are making decisions with information only from the physical world, third dimension. This can be called reliance on self. If we ask the Creator to help us, when we then get information from the unseen world or the spirit world. The spirit world is where we get our power. When we do this, we are then God reliant. Being God reliant is the same thing as being on the red road. Great Spirit will whisper its secrets of the unseen world into the mind's ear. That's the spirit world or your soul talking to you. So when it's talking about the red road or the red path is a native spiritual path. Walking the red road means living in the moment, connected to all that surrounds us. So paying attention, being connected to all levels, all things. Respecting all of our relations and Mother Earth and Father Sky. It means finding a balance between and attending to our four sides. Our spiritual side, our physical side, our mental side, and our emotional side. So I thought this whole statement here was beautifully done, and it touched me, and I thought it would be very helpful for you to understand that we are a mind, a body, and a soul, and we need to be using all those three parts of ourselves in order to really be living in life and understanding how to balance those. This is something I want to be teaching you and helping you with, and there's many other people out there that are doing the same thing. So look around, tap into, the internet, the books we've been sharing or other books out there. There's a lot on YouTube that you can see, lots of different videos that you can watch to help you on your journey. So YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, those are all other ways that you can get information. I'm going to go into diagram 3 in this video again. We're going to review that and then go into a couple more steps in helping you understand who you are and how you might be resonating at that 3rd, 4th, or 5th dimension now. And what I want to share with you really just briefly, and I'm going to go into a little more detail in just a minute, but in that 3rd dimensional reality, it's almost as if we're going to have to unlearn a lot of what we think is, or what is in that reality. In order to go higher, you have to let go of that, a lot of portions in that reality. And a lot of that is also what's coming to the surface and being exposed, as I've talked about. of things in that third reality that you thought were real and true are not. And this is, again, a lot of this exposure that we're going through and sharing with you. So what I want to say, in the third dimension, it's a very structured, very formed dimension. And we live in this. And so I'm going to just share this with you so you can start thinking about this. So in that third vibrational dimension, which is also, again, a lower dimension, or excuse me, a lower vibration, like I've mentioned to you before. And in that structure that we live in, think about it this way. So as our human being selves, what happens? We're born, and then we learn to walk and talk. And then after that, we start school. And we go through the school, and then, maybe there's some other things we tap into, different activities. Maybe we find some creative things that we start doing, or sports that we start doing. But then we keep continuing through school. And then one of the milestones that we hit is when we learn to drive a car, like around our 15, 16-year-old age. That's a big one. It's almost that step of, becoming more free and opening yourself up. And then after that, you might start dating. That's another kind of fun thing that starts happening in life. After that, you might graduate from high school, and then all of a sudden more pressures come on you, and you got to figure out, what am I doing with the rest of my life? Are you going to go off to college? Are you going to go to a trade school? Are you just going to start working? So that's another form that we all fall into. And then after that, we start thinking of our careers. And then the number one thing that starts happening to us as human beings is we start thinking about money. Money is what we live off of. That's the biggest form that we all fall into, which is honestly an enslavement that we all get adhered to, in a sense. So money becomes the most powerful thing in our lives. And so money is a very third dimensional aspect. And it's, again, something that falls back into thinking that the root of all evil is money. Money is the root of all evil. We've heard that many times. So after you start thinking about money and all that's going to get you, or what you need or what you want and desire, you might get married. That's another milestone that happens in our lives. And then you have kids. And once you do that, what happens? The cycle starts all over again. So those kids start the cycle I just started mentioning. And we just keep repeating this structure. And for you, the next thing is you might buy a house, and you start getting all the toys and fun things that you want with all that money that you're creating and making. That's another way. Or vacations, desires that you have. And then what happens as we age? Then we get to a point where we retire. And then we can do maybe hopefully more things that we want and share in our grandkids' lives. But everything's very, very structured. And then at the very end of this structure and cycle is death. And so all of us will go through the same exact cycle. This is third dimensional structured life. And what we want to do is start showing you that there is a much bigger way to live than in this structure. And so we're breaking away that structure, and actually, as I've mentioned before throughout these videos, the structure is breaking up, and now we all have to kind of join into this. So we're going to talk more about that third, fourth, and fifth dimensions and the vibrations that are within it.